Good morning, everybody. It's Chris here from Serene Education with the 4 majors and its update for the 22nd of September 2011. Hi folks, looking at the 4 majors with our CTC strategy template, count the cash system. I'm going to be starting with the euro against the US dollar. Let's have a look at the daily time frame. Okay, a lot of action yesterday. We had some upside movement to start with, and then during the latter part of the American session, US session, we saw price fall back down and retested a previous support, or this part over here, the body support. And since then we've had a continuation low on the Asian market session. So yesterday's candle low of 1356.70 bounced on this previous one over here, and sure enough this morning we've continued lower. So ultimately we know that 13,500 is a strong support. So we've got to see at least a break of that to see further continuation to the downside. Otherwise we could be setting up for a possible bounce again. So we could trade today's candle to that area. So what do we have here? So the low of 1353. So we've got 30 odd pips or so to that area that you can do that. It's quite close, but nonetheless it can still be traded. So intraday, you can see our daily setup. Still looking favorable for further downside movement. This now has formed a new swing, which happens to be lower than that one over there, so you can see price action still being directed to the downside and quite steep. Okay, so intraday, let's have a look. We know that 13,500 is a very strong support and resistance. Price, you can see as we've been pushing lower, notice the momentum to start with, and then you can see that the wicks are starting to get smaller. Sorry, the actual price range is going to get smaller as we head towards this very strong support and resistance level. So ideally we want to see a break below that. You can see there in the past, here on the 12th for example, a bounce at 13,500, and we could ultimately see another bounce over there. So we've got to wait, play your cards right, and wait for a break of 13,500. Otherwise we could see a potential pullback at this level. So we don't want to be suckered into any trades. The last we want to do is be suckered into any trades. So if you can bide your time, swing low, swing low, swing low, wait. Potentially, if there's a bounce, then we could see price literally testing the 13,600 mark. At least we've had a lot of support through this area, so we're going to this consolidation range at price support. So heads up, keep it strong, wait for the break, confirmation break of 13,500, look for the pullback and then the continuation, and we want to trade the continuation. Next up is sterling against US dollar. Well, a lot of selling yesterday, very engulfing, bearish engulfing pattern after slight consolidation, but still loads. I mean, you can just look at the trend direction on this. It's just been capped. Very strong moves. We had a slight pull. Well, the trading range for yesterday is we started off quite well at the highs of the previous close. Indecision, slight bullish upside movement. But as I mentioned, we needed to see a break above at least the 1577 mark to see further extensions higher. That just didn't materialize. Didn't even make the candle high of the previous day here at 15,700, because it is a support and resistance line, a very consolidative area there, and price just fell to the downside. We heard that the US government was going up, was planning to do to try and get quite creative in the market, and it came up with some sort of strategy to actually sell short-term securities only to buy long-term 7-year and 12-year securities long-term with it, and that's kind of seen the US dollar really rally and currencies trading against it fall, and that's exactly what we've seen over here. So 1575 has been quite bullish. So ideally second target now is going to be that 15,3500 mark at least. Price is heading towards that area. A lot of support and resistance in this area here. Very strong support area at 15,300. So looking ultimately to the downside, those are the areas you should be looking for intraday. You can see price has broken through a price support and resistance level at the 15.5550 mark. So if we can put those in our smaller time frames, there we go. On the hourly, for example, that's the price support and resistance level that we broken through yesterday, and I don't even think we can actually get the one we really want to on this chart because it's still quite way away. Excuse me. But if you just look at the breakout here, for example, down to this level here, the pullback we had subsequently, 100% bang, 161.8 is potentially the next target on this pair as we keep going to the downside. Notice if you looked at the price swings on this area, on this particular chart intraday, then you would have looked for potential breakouts, upside movement here, for example, swing out, swing out, swing out, dictating downside movement. Then we had a slight pullback. If I can just show you that pullback and then a continuation lower. So if you're trading that on that time frame, for example, the pullback and then the continuation, looking for 100% as our target. There we go. Smacked through it, and now we're still trading to 161. It's well overextended now. We could see potentially a pullback occurring. If it stays below the 161.8 intraday, then what we could do is see a consolidation taking place to that level and then a continuation lower. So you can see the swings. If you're just looking at this trading range here, swing low, swing low. If it can stay below that level there on the hourly edge, roughly the 14.45 or less, then we could see continuation to the downside. CTC still in our favor on our hourly. Well, all our time frames are still negative on this pair. Consolidative on our 5 minutes, for example. You can see the support being found here at the 15.4500 mark. The swings are still low, dictating downside, and we're going to the squeeze pattern. So look for potential breakout to the downside. If price breaks to the upside, we've got to be breaking above the Asian market high. So if you look at where it is now, we've got this little continuation, breaks above that, then we could be looking at ideally at 15.4900, break above that, ideally around about the 15.5100, and above that 15.800, etc. So look for the consolidation, breakout to the downside, momentum still pushing lower, but we could see consolidation if it breaks above this upside trend. US dollar Swiss franc is the next one. And since we've broken that institution moving average above the 8900, 950, we've seen price finding support at this level and pushing higher. Resistance around the institution moving average breakout and continuation higher. Asian market is still taking us higher. Ideally, our next potential target is going to be here at 9250. Clean air between these 2 points. It's fantastic as we go. Could see a slight consolidation at that area there between 9250 and 9350 is consolidate between that range. Break above that, we'll see at least a 9750 being our next potential target. So CTC on this time frame looking very, very bullish. As we've seen now the institution moving average being breached for the first time in as many months in a full year. So upside movement is, and intraday should be getting confirmation of that on our 4 hour. Yes, we do. Breakout of a prior support. Resistance level, support and continuation. Beautiful move, that. Fantastic. You bide your time on a 4 hour. I've been in it for the past 2 days. I'm up a total of 60 pips on this particular one after the breakout and pullback and continuation. It's fantastic. It's done exactly what I wanted to do. And just if you have patience, look for the breakout, pullback and continuation, and you'll be in it for the long term. So as it stands now, we had the break above 8950 in particular, or 8900. Just want to try and get that on an hourly chart. There we go. So we had resistance, breakout, pullback, continuation. So swing high, swing high, swing high, going into this, and sure enough, we've seen price revert to the upside. Slight hesitation over the Asian market session open, but as we've gone into this European session open, we've seen price moving slightly higher, which is great. So all our time frames from 5 minute right through to daily are looking bullish for upside movement on the chief. Next up is US dollar Japanese yen. I have the daily here. You can see 76.50. We've seen a lot more bounces along this, body bounces. But look at the wicks. Yesterday's candle is a good example of that. We saw 76.50 50 being breached during the early parts of trading. Then we saw price pretty much reverting to the downside, and then we saw price hitting higher, but indecisive nonetheless. But it didn't trade lower than the previous wick close. Sorry, body. The actual wick over here, the low of 76.15. That's as far as it went. Bounce, indecision, and then we saw the U.S. government come out with plans to get creative with selling short-term securities and purchasing long-term 7-year and 12-year securities to try and start a fire under this pot to try and get the US dollar to start moving to the upside. And sure enough, it did. We saw the Asian market take it as a good sign, and we've seen the US dollar rally over the Asian session. So if we get a bullish engulfing here, then we have bearish, indecision, bullish, and then we should be seriously looking at further upside movement for this pair. Price has tried the 7700 mark, which happens to be price support and resistance on this pair. This consolidation break above that, then ideally we're going to be looking at the 20 period, also the 50 here to start with as potential support resistance, but ultimately way back up here at 7770 because we had this as a strong resistance level in the past, noticeably there. So look for upside further movement on this pair for the rest of this week. So Asian, US dollar, Japanese yen. See if price can close above the previous candle high, yesterday's high, 76.73. So that'll be your support, intraday support. It's at that level, 76.73. If we can stay above that area, then obviously we could see a potential bounce and a continuation higher. That's it, folks. Hope you have a fantastic trading day today. Please ensure that you follow the rules of the CTC if you are using them. Money management also is paramount when trading this thing. It's very this is a very lagging indicator, so it's fantastic for newbies out there in the market who are looking to trade the Forex, trade Forex in particular. But yeah, just keep it trading simple, back it up with sound money management rules, because any good template out there is worth nothing if you aren't backing or if you aren't using the right money management. So very, very important. So other than that, have a fantastic trading day. Keep it simple as I mentioned, and most importantly, trade serenely.